Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to American Defender. Today we're going to talk about the Taurus G2C, but we're not going to talk about it in our usual fashion, going over features. No, we're going to talk is it safe to carry. Now this is a brand spanking new 2024 model G2C. Just bought it a few days ago. Here's the box for it. I've got probably, I don't know, 70 rounds through it. All right. Maybe 100 rounds at most. So it's not even really broken in yet. It's still a new gun. I haven't even owned it a week. What I want to do is the test that I did on the Taurus recall on the G2C. Now, this particular firearm was the result of that recall. Taurus was forced to build this. The United States Safety Commission actually came in and looked at this thing and okayed it. All right. The courts were involved with the building of this. They gave it the approval. And we're going to find out if this thing will fire in those same... I've got one here. I want to show you what it will look like here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I got a cartridge here with some tape on the back of it. And of course, if the pin comes forward, it'll poke a hole in the tape and it'll look something kind of like that. All right. And so you can see here, there's one with no hole over here. And this one has the hole in it. So you can kind of see the difference between the two. All right. It's pretty clear. There's a little pinhole in that. All right. So we're going to test this in single action, double action. This pistol has two functions to it. When you rack it all the way back and put a round in, it's in single action mode. Okay. Then once you go ahead and fire it, I always check before I pull the trigger. Once you go ahead and fire it, it goes into double action mode, or that is their double tap feature, double strike, whatever you want. It's double action. Okay, let's just quit beating around the bush, Taurus, and call it double action. All right. So normally a semi-auto pistol like this would be double action to single action. This one kind of goes the other way. It goes single action to double action, and it'll only go into double action if you have a failure to fire. Okay. Light strike on a primer or whatever, a dud. All right, so that you can get that second or third strike in there. Most people do away with that function by replacing this trigger with an aftermarket one and just have single action only. Or if they don't do that, they just go ahead and rack that round out and pump another one in. All right, and that's actually what you're trained to do in pistol combat courses. You don't double tap it. It's, oh crap. Okay, that's what you do. All right, you just rack one out and rack one in. All right. So we're in single action now. I'm just going to do the same test. And if you remember in the Gen 1s, we could trap the trigger beyond the sear, defeating the safety, and it would fire. So we need to see if this one will fire. Okay. If this does not fire in single action, then guess what? It proves my last video 100% correct. All right. So let's take a look at this really quick here. We're going to do the same thing. All right. So we're going to pull this back. Okay. We're in single action mode. Pull it back. Safety on. It does trap the trigger. Does it fire though? That's the question. Does it fire? No. Return to single action mode. Pull that safety. Okay. Whoop, I fired it. Okay. So, means I'm going to have to get a piece of tape. But, again, that's what it will look like if it fires. Let me pause the video real quick. I didn't mean to do that. And let me grab another piece of tape and change that tape out. Hold on one sec here. Okay, so here's the tape. It's McKesson medical tape, if you need to know what it is. It's like gauze tape. Alright, so we'll grab one of these here, doesn't matter which one. We'll just peel this off the back real quick. Okay. Pop that back on there. Okay. And there we go. Alright. We have some spare pieces here just in case I do it again. Because I can, and it can happen as you saw there. So, until I actually fired it, the previous tests there, yeah, it didn't fire. So it's completely 100% safe, even if you do happen to be a bonehead and, you know, put your finger on the trigger and then set the safety. Now, a lot of people out there have been like, nobody does that. Really? Really? You don't think anybody could do that? What about this? You're at the range. You're shooting. Ceasefire! Oh, okay. And you like to ride the reset. Okay. Let me show you a little something. See the position right there? We're in single action mode, okay? See right there? I want you to pay attention to where that trigger's sitting. Okay? Alright? Now watch. Watch where the reset is. Right there. Alright? You're riding that reset. You got to put the safety on for whatever reason. You click it on. Guess what? Trigger's trapped. Put it in your holster. Some vibration or something happens. Bam! Into your leg it goes. Okay. Is that the gun's fault? It's yours. Because you didn't allow the trigger to return all the way out and then put the safety on. That's your fault. That's the poor gun handling. Okay. That's negligence on your behalf, not Taurus's. All right. So let's go ahead and put it into double action and see if it'll do this in double action, shall we? All right. So it will not fire in single action like that. We've proven that. So let's put it in double action. Now, I have to kind of try to mimic a failed primer, and to do that, I got to do it like this, because we're not using live ammo here. It's just basically playing with snap caps, really. Pop that in there. Put the guide rod back in. Okay, guide rod's in. And I'm going to put this back on, but I'm not going to rack it. Okay, I just want to take it on about that far right there, okay, until it engages the lock. All right, so we are in double action now. As you can tell here, I have to put a little more pressure on it. So I'll go ahead and bring it on down. Get you close. Okay, bring it on down. There's the reset for single action, about right there. Put it on safe, let go of the trigger, and oh hey, it returns. Bring it down. Bring it. Okay, put it on safe, and one more time for the kids in the back. Okay. Now that it's returned, though, and the safety's still on, will it fire? Safety engages. Okay, so won't do it there either. Or will it? I have found a way that you can make the G2C fire in double action with the safety engaged. How do you do that? Well, I was thinking about what if it was in one of these cases where, and again, this is like a stretch. Okay, I know this is stretching. I don't know anybody that does this. Okay, but riding the reset and putting the safety on makes way more sense. What I'm about to demonstrate makes no sense. Okay, so, but it could happen. Anything's possible. So you go to fire it, you hear the click, and now you've got a dinged primer, possibly a hang fire, hanging in your barrel. All right. You go and you holster the gun and then put on the safety. But you're unaware of the fact that there's a foreign object in your holster. There's something there that's able to put rearward pressure on that trigger. What if there was something there like that that could maintain that pressure while the safety was put on? Would it fire? Let's find out. Simple enough. All we got to do is bring it to that reset in double action mode. Put the safety on. So again, it's sitting in your holster like this now. And my finger is acting like that foreign object holding it rearward. And then you hit a bump, trip, fall, whatever. Jump up and down, and congratulations, you're on your way to the hospital. They just fired. Okay? That is the only way. Okay? That is the only way. Is if it's a situation like that, or maybe it doesn't put the pressure on the trigger. Okay? Maybe it puts the pressure on the safety, and you have that foreign object in there pushing back on this, and you have pressure on that safety holding upward. Notice that trigger is now locked back. Watch what happens when I let go of this safety. Okay. So again, now it's not going to fire because the safety's engaged. But if you happen to get that back there like that, and that safety's pinned, well, it'll fire that way too. Again, both of those scenarios are, I'm not going to say they're impossible, but they're incredibly unlikely. And obviously, the courts and the safety commissions and everybody that had their eyes on Taurus when they were building this thing, I would assume they would have known about that because they let this get released. In this condition. And it's been the number one selling 9mm for 6 years now. And nobody's had any problems like that. None. Because nobody does that. Nobody keeps around in the chamber, for one, that's been struck already. And then you have to have that constant pressure on the trigger and setting the safety, or constant pressure on the safety and constant pressure on the trigger. I mean, it's so unlikely. It's not 100% impossible, but it's 99.9999 infinitely impossible. Percent impossible. But then again, a lot of you were like, nobody's putting their booger picker on the bang switch and setting the safety. Riding that reset, which a lot of you like to do out there, and setting that safety like that and then coming out. That's a very probable thing, and I see it all the time, especially with Glock owners. A lot of Glock owners like to ride that reset. A lot of people that are into competition ride the reset. A lot of people that watch YouTube videos to try to learn proper technique on a trigger ride the reset because their favorite YouTuber says, ride the reset. I'm telling you, get your damn finger out of the trigger guard before you set the safety. Nothing wrong with riding the reset. But don't hold the reset when you put the safety on a Gen 1 Taurus. You're asking for a bullet in the ass. On a Gen 2, if you're riding the reset, they had to make this particular gun dummy proof because of that. Okay? If you're riding that reset and you put the trigger on, yeah, it's going to trap your trigger, but it ain't going to go off. All right. So, in light of this evidence, I was correct. And in hindsight, now thinking about all of it, Taurus got screwed over. That lawsuit was frivolous because all of that was 100% undoubtedly user error. It was people that had no business owning a firearm or handling a firearm or using it in a professional scene, like one Ohio police officer that was involved in this case that shot himself in the leg with his PT 24/7 after riding the reset, setting the safety and reholstering it, and not checking the condition of his firearm before securing it in the holster. It's common sense. So, there you go. Is the G2C or the G2 Taurus safe to carry? Well, yeah, absolutely it is. Is the G1 Taurus safe to carry? Yeah, in my opinion it is. If you know how to properly handle a firearm, you know proper trigger etiquette, yeah, 100%. Again, I've owned a lot of the Gen 1 guns, never had a problem. But I don't keep my booger picker on the bang switch when I set the safety either. So as ridiculous as it sounds, it happened. And it cost a company like Taurus hundreds of millions of dollars in recalls, lawyer fees. And I really now wish that there was a way to reopen that case and reverse it, because it needs to happen. Because there is no other way for this to happen other than user error. That is it. Bottom line. So with that, thank you for watching. God bless you. God bless America. Please take a kid fishing. Take a kid shooting. Keep your booger picker off the bang switch when setting the safety. And I will see you on the flip. Bye now.